All right, let's see what we got here. Check my mic. Seems to be all right there. Testing 1, 2. Let's see. All right, we working here? All right, everybody hear me now? What's going on? I am Merkin. Hold on, let me shut that other volume down on the other computer. Sam, hello, what's going on? Your Highness, hello from New Jersey. Good to see you in there, man. Glad I caught you this week. Just going midnight here. Well, and we try to go as early as we can if we can. Who knows? We might be able to go actually earlier if we adjust things a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So love to be able to do that for you guys. Eric Wood, hey Chris, what's going on, man? Good to see you in there. Ricky, yeah, okay, cool. You need to do a video on the moon's rocks, and I'll send you an email. Sounds good, man. Renee van Oosterhout, or Hout, depending on how you pronounce it. Hello from the Netherlands. Hello. Waving my hand over to you and the family. Peaceful hug. Finally caught you. Well, I'm glad you got jumped in here, man. Good evening, Samuel, Nick. What's going on, Nick? Adam Duran. Adam from Casper says you do a great job. Keep it up. Well, I appreciate that. What's going on, Kenneth? American Rebel, what's happening? Yes, I can definitely see you, man. Joel St. Jean, or Jean. Bonjour. What's going on, man? Bruce Owen, hi. Hello from Britain. Lewis Longbeard, what's going on, man? Scott, man, I've got a whole bunch of you jumping in there. It's awesome. You got a little bit of water here. Does audio sound all right to you guys? Or do I need to have it louder? I think I got it pretty much up there. Let me go ahead and see what we got here on this side. Okay, we're good there. Laurent Duval. Hey, Chris from Mexico. What's going on? Let me just... All right, you guys are saying I'm sounding good here. Okay. Let's check the levels one last time. I think last time I had a little bit lower, and everybody's like, oh, man, I can't hear you, especially when we had Bruce on. Remember that? And somehow when I adjusted it, I just hit on screen, and it dropped mine a little bit. Everybody else was saying, you guys are, man, you're low. And then I realized it after the fact, and I was like, well, that's why I got a little bit closer to the mic so you guys could hear me. But now we checked it before we went live, so we should be good. Randy Dooms, I'm checking you out casted to my 70-inch smart TV. Now, don't be scaring the neighborhood now, Randy. Nandro Richardson, hi from Chicago. What's going on in the old Windy City up there? Emerson Paynes, sorry I don't understand English, but I like your videos. Well, I appreciate that, man. I do. Let's see. All right. Should be okay. Probably hear an echo in a second. Okay. Probably hear an echo in a second. All right. Looks good. Sounds good. It's what we need to know. I'll get it on the other computer so I can monitor what's going on here. Make sure everything's in check. You know what I mean? All right. George Mayer, what's going on, man? Good to see you in there. Kenneth, you're not the first one to ask me that. When you got to do a video on Antarctic, please. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I got some people asking me about that, and it's maybe doing it soon. Eric Wood, thanks for trying to get the truth out there, man. Really appreciate it. Well, I mean, it's like if we all do it right, then we're, you know what I mean? We're all collectively getting the truth out. That's why I say, share the videos, things like that, to get the truth out, and whether it's Twitter, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing. I mean, I try to get this stuff out as much as possible because I know a lot of you guys are like I am. It's like I just thirst for like information and stuff like that. And if you love anything space, then you know what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, awesome. What's going on there, Joe Blow? Good to see you in there, man. Rockstar 8970 Abel. Cheers, guys. What's going on, man? I am Merkin. Do you think from the photo evidence that apart from this, from some moon landings, the rest were studio sets, considering the fake rocks when the lettering? I actually do believe that. I believe a lot of this was made up just in case there was massive failures. You know what I'm saying? And I think they did this so they could. So in the event that did happen, or they threw these at us saying these are the photos that we got from the moon, when actuality, they're saying, hey, look at the right hand, left hand's doing something totally different. I think that may be the case, and so I believe some of them are fake, and for good reason. Like I said, if you're trying to again have people look at this hand instead of the other, well, here's the photos from the moon, guy. What do you think? And everybody's going, oh, wow, that looks good. Unless, of course, you really scrutinize. And then like you said, you see like these weird, like an R on a rock. It's like, yeah, okay, that's real. Things like that. So I believe that's the truth. I think that some of these photos are faked, and for good reason. Like I said, if you can convince and have the public look this way, they won't be looking that way. And that's when you can, you know what I mean, do what you really want to do. Paul McKenzie, always enjoyable. Well, I appreciate you coming in there, man. Randy Dooms, I believe Mars has life. I believe you're right. One form or another, I believe it does. Like I said, I've said this many times, between water cycles, clouds, it has rain there, decent warm temperatures. They always claim it's always below zero. It's not. You can get an average of, even if it's 40, 50 degrees, even 20 degrees. I don't know about you, but I can live in 20 degrees. I don't like it, but I can live in it. So, I mean, and we don't, well, here's the thing. If there's underground life, we don't know if it's coming out from the ground during the day when it's warm and then going back underground. You know what I mean? Because you can go, X amount of feet under the ground and you're insulated. It stays a consistent temperature at all times. So I don't see why it can't be done. Alan Pope. Hey, Edmonton here. Hey, what's going on, man? Like your vids. Can't see everything you do, but I see a lot. And that's the main thing, Paul. I'm glad you said that, because that's the main thing. There's a lot of things I don't see that you guys see. So vice versa, you know what I'm saying? And again, I've said this many times. It's all about a learning curve. I may not see, when I do see something, it's like, I might be totally off base with the way I'm describing it, right? But we can all agree that most of these things are anomalous. In other words, they stand out from their environment, and they do look intelligently made, or even if it's not intelligently made, it's something that really stands out, and it just doesn't look right, again, from its surroundings, right? James Smith, great vids, Chris. Appreciate it, man. Michael Hart, what's up, Chris? What's going on, man? Good to see you in there. Yeah. I think it's Tickabass. It gets very interesting when comparing the moon, the asteroid, Mars, and Earth anomalies on Google. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about that? The latest video. A lot of you guys weighed in on it, and I'm trying to remember who it was. I can look this up real quick. In fact, I could do it here. It was interesting, and I don't really have to look it up, but one of you guys actually said, "Hey, Chris, you know what that looks like? That same asteroid looks like Bennu. If you look up Bennu asteroid, it's the same diamond-shaped, weird-looking asteroid. Why are these things that shape? You guys got any ideas on that? It just seems that they're not going out to some round or weird-looking cluster rock. It just happens to be these weird shapes all the time. What are we getting into here? What are they looking for, guys? You go 173 million miles away from Earth just to check out just a simple rock. I don't believe so. I think they sent a probe there a long time ago, or looking at it through the Hubble. Or they could have sent something there before. Somehow they had something that got them saying, wow, we really need to check this rock out. There's something there that's going to make them want to build this craft. They know where it's heading because they can see the trajectory rather. And you can see it just like traveling through space. They know where they did all the crunching of the math, had this spacecraft meet this asteroid. And there you go. What's the reason? Oh, we just wanted to see, maybe we can tell the age of the universe. Really? That's like what? Or the solar system, whatever it may be. No, there's no way. There's a reason why they're going after it and spending big money to do this. Multi-grain pasta. I like that. It's pretty good. What do you think rather about Blue Origin and SpaceX trying to land and colonize the moon by 2029? Well, I mean, I was just looking at this myself. I was looking at the latest space news, right? And they're saying SpaceX building a Starship rocket prototype in Florida. So, yeah, these guys are in competition. And it's like, okay, for what reason? This is not a game, but they're probably viewing it as, not just here in the now, but in the future, and probably in the near future, saying, hey, we could be out there. It's all about the money game. You know what I'm saying? Once we get out there, we can establish this, structures up there. Next thing you know, you got, before you know it, there's hotels up there. Well, you can spend money, the filthy rich can go up there and spend time on the moon or whatever. It sounds so far-fetched now, but is it really? I don't know. The way the technology is going, the way we're really pushing to get out there, I don't think it is. I just had my dinner there, Joe Blow. Let's see. Out on bail. I like that. That's pretty good. Over all these years you've have been looking at pictures, what is the number one photo you would say is the smoking gun? There was one photo that I really thought was wild, and I had it on my Google Plus, but they'd done away with the Google Plus. I don't know if you guys realize that or actually seen that. I used to have the Google Plus right there on my banner on my homepage. You click on it now, it's not even there. They've totally done away with it. But on the photo, it was from the Opportunity rover, and it's in the crater, and it looks like what looks like actual vehicles that were coming down. It looked like they were washed down the inside of this crater wall. And when you look at it, and I asked, and I've done this, I printed the photo out, went to work, and I asked my boss, just for the heck of it, I said, I got a photo for you to look at. He said, oh, really? He said, what's that? I said, well, by the way, there's no right or wrong answer. I just need to know what comes to your mind the first thing you see. He said, all right. I said, it's black and white. That's all I told him. Showed him the picture. He looked and he kind of chuckled. I said, and he's almost like he's thinking, I'm going to feel like a fool if I give him the wrong answer, right? I said, again, there's no right and wrong answer. I'm just trying to figure it out too. He goes, if I didn't know better, this looked like some kind of military Jeep. I said, bingo, there you go. It's exactly what I think it is too. And then on top of this edge of this crater in the inner wall, it looked like other vehicles of some sort also there. And it looked like they literally washed down this crater wall. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the only one who's seen this, and a lot of people have seen this, and man, that does look like a freaking vehicle. What the hell is that? There's many things I've actually seen what look like structures built on the side of mountains, all kinds of crazy things, and it just makes you wonder. Some of you guys suggested, Chris, is a possibility that this is really on Earth, and I'm going. With being that you have to have an open mind and that knowing that NASA can play with your brain and everything else, you have to at least say, well, that's a good possibility, right? I don't believe that it is, only because they're going out of their way to fake it. And if you're going to fake the video, or a photo rather, why put anything in the photo at all? Why don't you just take this photo from any large desert that has not even plant life in it? You won't have to do any kind of manipulated obfuscation, right? And then just, throw the red filter on there and ship it. That's basically it. So for me, it just seems like this is the real deal, because they're going out of their way. They're taking the photo. They're literally taking these things and they're going, okay, we need to go ahead and manipulate this and obfuscate this stuff out. And then every now and then you're finding these, I call them breadcrumbs. They're like, they're just leaving these things and throwing us a bone every now and then, saying, we'll just throw this at them. This way we can slowly desensitize the public, so on and so forth. That's what I think is going on. What do you guys think? Do you believe that's the same thing, or they got an ulterior motive, right? So, I mean, what do you guys think? I don't know. Let's see. Philip Worthington. Hello, how are you doing? I like the last video you did where they shot the exploding thing. When was they planning to get back to Earth? Well, see, that's the thing. They didn't actually say. They're saying, because I think they were only supposed to take the first photo, meaning they were going to take some photos, take a sample. In other words, make a crater in this thing. Then the craft would then come back after the debris is cleared, land on the asteroid, grab some soil, and then head back to Earth. But then they decided to do another explosion, another hit to this asteroid. So I don't think there's any definitive date or when they think it's going to come back. If you guys have heard something different, go ahead and post it. But yeah. Many dooms. I saw a dumb video with solar panels on China's dark side of the moon rover. That could be pretty dumb, couldn't it? I can't see that thing lasted very long in the dark. But is it really in the dark? Think about it. It's on the dark side for us, but once it goes around, it's back in the sun again. So could very well be. To me, I don't know why these guys are using anything solar to begin with. Put a nuclear power plant like they do in the Curiosity rover, send it on its way. Like I said, basically the nuclear power plant will outlast the rover. The rover, literally, the wheels will fall off it. Last motherboard will take a dump, the whole 9 yards before that power plant takes a dump. So I don't know why they keep using these solar panels, because they've been using nuclear power plants since the moon missions. So I don't understand, Rockstar 8970 Abel, what are the chances of terraforming Mars? I don't know, man. Some people said they've already started it. You know what I mean? How do we know they haven't? I mean, they could say, well, we're just testing out these rockets, by the way, so, no big deal. And remember, not too long ago, they had what looked like one of the three, and the lowest of the three dormant volcanoes suddenly start to erupt. You guys heard anything else about that? Never heard a thing about it, right? I did a video on that, and it didn't even look like it was actually off the volcanic wall, the volcano wall. And when you bring down the brightness, it looked like something square sitting there, almost like something exploded, as opposed to some, like just a natural phenomenon, right? I don't know. Have you guys heard anything else about that? Never heard a thing. So think about it. If you start getting volcanic activity, what would it do to that atmosphere? What would it do to Mars? Think about it. Larry Baker, the dark side of the moon isn't always dark. Exactly. That's what I was getting at. Because again, although for our side, you get a lot of Earth reflection hitting the moon, right? But on the other side, which we don't see, we call the far side, actually. And it to us, it would look, well, it's got to be dark because clearly it's light on this side. Well, that doesn't mean that, because once it spins on, orbiting around the Earth, obviously it's going to, it's going to get that other side lit as well. So, yeah. Material. Chris, what's your opinion on SETI? I love the idea of it. And if you notice, I think it was was it Japan or China they really started to, they just built their one of their large arrays, I think it was, um, one of the largest telescopes as well, radio telescopes, and I think it's even supposed to rival Arecibo. And I mean, if there's nothing out there, guys, what are they so intensely looking for? I mean, they're just waiting for that hit, if you will. Like, oh yeah, I mean, finally we got a signal. When they were getting those radio bursts, I don't know if you guys remember those bursts they were getting from space. Now, some scientists say, there could very well be a communication, or somehow we picked up some of these. I don't know if you want to call them radio waves or some kind of burst of information coming from other planets. Now, of course, they get scoffed at, which I don't understand why, because it's a very good possibility. Just because we don't know what it is, because here's the thing. Here's my question. If you look at your, regular radio signals, right? You've got, anything from phones to like 5G, 3G, whatever. And you've got your radio stations, AM stations, stuff. What if there was a frequency we don't even know about? What if it was sent by laser, which you can send a whole lot of information through light, like you do fiber optics on your cables, if you got, high-end cable in your house, you got fiber optics, all that information is being sent through light. And NASA was working on that, and they may have already done this, and they're just not telling the public, but actually trying to set up a laser where it would just hit Earth, and of course, we'd collect it through these large radio telescopes, and all the information is streamed through it a lot faster than a radio wave would, right? So how do we know that another civilization out there is not using some totally different way of communication, and somehow it's like we see it's there, we can hear it or whatever, but we can't decode it yet? Why? Because we just don't have a clue yet. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that? I think SETI's still going to keep doing what they're doing, though. They're not going to stop, and I wouldn't either. They've been looking for, I forgot how many, maybe you guys know it, some of you guys might know it, where they had X amount of frequencies they literally listened to simultaneously. I mean, if you've ever seen the actual rack this thing has in there, it's like all of these different receivers, and they literally just listen to it. The computer will listen to thousands of frequencies, at least, hundreds of thousands of video. I'm thinking videos now, right? I'm over here looking at this video in here on my other screen. So they're listening to these frequencies. The computer sees it. I'm sure if it catches something, it'll automatically stop at that frequency and just maybe there's an alarm goes off, whatever. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? I think they have. I think they know there's other civilizations out there, but they're thinking we can't do nothing about it, because if they're X amount of light years away, they could be already dead, right? Because when you look, the further you look into the universe, you're actually looking in our past, right? So they're probably thinking, oh, there's no point in doing that now. Do you guys remember hearing about that? They said that, I don't know how true it was, but they had like this transmission they received from way out there, and it said something like it was some kind of weird SOS, and then they never heard another thing from it. You guys hear about that? This is a while back, man, and they probably figured, well, there's nothing we can do about it anyway. Let's say they were still sending the signal, if in fact it was true, though. Even if they were still sending the signal, it wouldn't matter, because we wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Brian Norton, what's going on, man? Good to see you in there. James, Oscar, what strength magnifying glass would you recommend? Daft questions? Nah, there's nothing daft about it. I know, but really getting into all of these. Well, this is what I use. You can buy these. They're like little jeweler's eyepieces, and they come like 3-time magnification, 5 and 10. So you can get these. I think they're like really cheap. I think they're like $7 on eBay. So you can literally put it like this far away from the actual screen and just kind of go over it. I usually use the 5. It seems to work best. Of course, it depends on your screen, your resolution, things like that. So check that out. You might be okay with that. And I've got the regular. I forget what this one here is. It just says light wedge, but anyway, you can see it here. It's got the smaller one there, which is a good magnification, and of course, you got your regular magnifier, so you can actually go back and forth with it and go up close and far away. So yeah. Tony So, what's up, Chris? Big fan of your channel. Love from Norway. What's going on, man? It's good to see you in there. And this thing just went. Let me see here. This thing just shot way up. Man, you guys are all over this tonight. I love that. Man, I got to way back up here. I was actually just stopping the actual comments, so this way I can read each one and go down the line. But you guys, you guys put so many of them up there, like holy crap. Let me see. Natural Libre, hi all. Good to see you back in action. Well, haven't really left, but work's been a little crazy, if you know what I mean. I'd like to be able to do a lot more for the. And by the way, I do have a bunch more coming up, so guys, don't worry about that. Got some good ones coming from Mars, some of these gigapans, and some crazy things in them, as well as the moon. I do actually see Bruce in there. Good evening, Bruce. What's going on, bro? You need to hit me up, man. I don't know what happened. You said something about your Facebook being trashed, or you shut it down. Whatever. Either get it back or try to get Skype. One of the two. Set it up. And we can do it that way. You and I can do another hangout. I think a lot of you guys like that, getting the two brains together here and just throwing different opinions, stuff like that. And we love you guys as well as doing it. Yeah, I heard about that, John. And, you said your question was, did you hear about the moonquakes that are making the moon smaller? I have, and you can see where they showed a picture where literally the ground literally caved in, like almost like if it had tectonic plates, right? It's literally folding over itself. I don't know. I mean, that's pretty bizarre if you ask me. And on top of that, it's actually moving away 1 inch every year. It's like an inch and a half. It's literally moving away out of orbit each year, which is really bizarre. Yeah, Joe Blow. Yeah, it's continuous BS, Chris. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, you got to, and I think everybody has to just read between it. Just like Bruce does when he does I love the idea of, because here's the thing. It's coming straight from a telescope, camera, computer. There's nothing being, manipulated, obfuscated. It's right there in your face. And it's just really wild. And I think I would actually trust that before I would trust a lot of things that NASA has, or these other space agencies that try to show you, oh yeah, this is the actual photo. Yeah, well, doesn't mean it can't be doctored. I'm not saying every one of them is doctored. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of really good photos, high definition photos, very good quality. But as soon as you start to get in close to these things, if they show up a close up, somehow you see like these areas of like fudging and manipulation going on. Not good. Let's see. Good question there, Bruce. What about the asteroid belt besides Mars and the danger for humans? There's always a danger of that because these things are just just in that belt, just orbiting and just going through space. I mean, you can have them, boom, they hit. Next thing you know, it deflects one right into Mars. Absolutely. It's got a whole lot better chance of getting hit by one than us. But if you really think about it, we can get hit just as easy. So, it would take a little longer to get to us, right? But yeah, I mean, that's always a possibility. And this is the reason why they're starting to scout more and more. There's actually places that are just dedicated to looking in the skies. And they're just trying to make sure that we don't get whacked by one of these things. But I don't know about you guys, but I think it's game over if we get one that's the size of Texas. Just, basically kiss your butts goodbye, and that's the end of it. Tell all your loved ones you love them, and that's the end of it. Because you get something that big, there's nothing they're going to do about it. I mean, unless, of course, they got something out in space, weapons and stuff like that to protect us from it, which I believe they do, believe it or not. And they literally can just blast it out. But if it's that big, who knows, right? It's kind of like that Armageddon. Let me see here. I want to try to answer these guys, these for you guys, if I can. Michael Starr, Chris, great video of Ryugu. Everybody's saying just call him Ryu, but it's for me, if I pronounce it correctly, it's Ryugu. Can you do a part 2 and analyze the larger image of the entire diamond shape? There are structures sitting right on both poles. And you know what? I've seen some weird looking things there as well. This is the reason why I gave you guys the photos. This way you can really analyze it as well. Crazy stuff, man. And like I said, one of you subs, and I see if I can word this the way you said it, said, is it possible when there was this catastrophic event on Mars that, you know what I mean? You have like this, if you have like a nuclear, disaster, you're going to have a lot of melting of things, right? And if it blew off into space, is it possible you have a lot of dirt and rock mixed with technological parts? So is it possible that happened? And I thought that was a great, great comment, man. I said, I hadn't thought about it like that. But the way the thing is shaped is just really bizarre. It's kind of like, to me, it looks more intelligently made rather, than just some hunk of rock just floating out in space. And again, Bennu, that asteroid looks almost identical, like a diamond shape, or if you turn it on its side, it looks like a square. What's the chances of two of these things looking like that? And we had I'm trying to remember if it was I won't remember off the top of my head now. They had a craft go to Bennu. I think it was something Rex. I don't know if you guys can, maybe you'll know off the top of your head, that literally went there and Osiris Rex, I think it is. That's what it was. And they went and they checked that one out. And of course we get, all these countries are shooting out looking at these peculiar looking rocks. You're telling me that's the only rock? One guy commented and said, well, that's because it was the closest one they could find. Really? 173 million miles out in space, and they just happened to go right after that one. I don't know about you guys, but I find that a little strange. Maybe it's just coincidence. Maybe they said, hey, let's just check the rock out. Let's see. Oh, okay, Randy. My bad on that. Do mess. If you're liking to pronounce my name correctly. Okay. Didn't know that. Zatsuki Banzai, what's going on, man? Good to see you in there. Well, see, Kenneth, Riley, yeah, I said that, it makes you wonder, too, because it's a great question. Chris, what's your views on the countries wanting to go get back on the moon? Well, again, is it all about mining? Is it about what's on the other side of the moon, the far side? Think about it. I mean, you'll never see it. I won't ever see it. So how do we know what's there? And if they plan, let's say there's just leftover junk over thousands of years ago or millions of years ago. Because again, if you go back to the ancient people, there was a time when there was no moon. So that's pretty bizarre, right? So if that's true, where was this thing? How did it get here? And when you ask the question, you say, well, all right, so now why did they keep going to the far side? Like there's something special there. Maybe there is. How do we know? We'll never know because we can't see it. And sorry, Bruce, you can't see it either. He's probably thinking, God, I wish I could. Out on Bale, nuclear ship, there are people looking after it. I don't think you can just put a nuclear engine on the rover and let it go. Well, the thing is, I'm trying to think. Because I remember you just commenting earlier. Well, when you say nuclear, it's a nuclear power plant on the rover, which drives, it just produces electricity. I think it's 150 watts of power. It's a radioactive isotope that's actually decaying, and that's what produces the power for the Curiosity, where the other ones were solar. And of course, I forget how many watts those things would generate if it sat in the sun long enough, and then of course it would go on its way and do its thing. So yeah, I'm not sure what you're getting at as far as like you say, well, you can't just put a nuclear engine on a rover and let it go. So if you can, just try to reiterate, and so I can get a better idea what you're talking about. I'm going to go ahead and let me see what that is real quick. Good one, Eric. All righty then. Yeah, Bruce. Yeah, do that. We have to connect again on Messenger. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I know you said something about your Facebook going crazy on you or whatever. You shut it down. I went to go look for you, and you were completely gone. I'm like, okay. And then there's a whole bunch of other uh, Bruce Schwartz and everything else. I'm like, oh, okay. And I looked for your name, and I just couldn't find it. So yeah, we need to definitely get that straightened out and hit me up. Well, it's hard to do that, Rockstar 8970 Abel. You can. Don't get me wrong. It says Bruce never live streams the moon. You can, but yeah, I mean, the weird thing about it is if you have, I've seen people do this. If you have a really good laptop, you can do it, and of course, be next to either a Cat 5 connection, good Wi-Fi, whatever it may be. But it's really tough to do that, and have all the equipment outside while you're indoors, or like I said, if you can bring something outside, it'd be great. Um, it's tough to do that. I know a buddy of mine used to try to do that, and he'd get a lot of hiccups in the video. It just wouldn't be right. Of course, people complained about it, and he had good equipment. It wasn't like he had junk equipment. I mean, I think he paid like close to $3,000 for a laptop, so that's not exactly junk, if you ask me. Let's see, Melissa Lopez. If you guys are interested in this kind of subject, definitely look up Matilda Donnell McElroy, Interview with an Alien. It really has opened my eyes to a different view. It's very, very interesting. If you can, Melissa, drop the link in here, and I'll go ahead and share it with everybody if you have it. Because I think I remember hearing something about it. I don't know if it was the actual alien talking in the background, and it was kind of really wasn't the best, quality. I don't know if that's the same one or if it was something else. But if you happen to have the link, go ahead and drop it here, and I'll share it with everybody. Lloyd Share, Tesla did it. What do you do? Joe Blow, yeah, absolutely. I do see Bruce. He's in there. See, that's the thing. That's a crazy part. He never sees me in his. That's why I told him. I said, "You got me blocked." He said, "No, I don't, man. I tried. I looked after everything, and I just don't have it blocked." I said, "I swear to God, you do. I can't even reply. It doesn't even have like a reply next to his comment. Now, you guys can look at his comments on my videos, and it'll say reply. Mine it doesn't. If I look at his, I can't see it. I can see his comment. I just can't reply to him, which is really bizarre. But whatever the reason is, who knows? Maybe the powers to be. It's hard to tell. Justin T. Hello, everybody. What's going on, Justin? Michael Stark. I caught Jupiter 2 nights ago. Got real close. Super weird giant structure sitting right on its front surface. I'm convinced almost every image was shown a heavily masked. And I think so too, man. And I hate to say that because, you want to trust these space agencies, right? To get your information. And it's only people like Bruce and other people, these amateur astronomers, that are trying to do what they can to get the real deal. And that's what got me hooked on Bruce's was because I'm thinking to myself, I said, oh my God, there's actually a guy on here doing like videos of the moon and see what looks like these crazy things flying over the surface and everything. And that's what got me hooked because I mean, it's our closest neighbor, right? And I think a lot of you guys would agree that it's right there. So, and if you can look at it and take a real good peek at it, that's awesome. Satsuki says you are heading back in the right direction. There are structures on every moon, planet, and yeah, I've always said that too. Even places you think life wouldn't exist. What place are you thinking of next? Well, I don't know. But it's funny that you said that about even places you wouldn't think existed. Life is there, and people think, oh, there's no way it's inhospitable. There's no way that something could live on a certain planet because of the gases, whatever. Oh, please. Life will find a way, one way or the other. It will adapt. Just because we don't think of, if we were to go on a certain gaseous planet, we'd instantly die, right? That doesn't mean some other creature or animal or whatever it may be could not live on it. How do we know? We just don't know. We just assume, we make the assumption, oh, yeah, we'd definitely be dead on that planet. Yeah, we would, because we're not adapt to it. So, yeah. James Newton, yeah, I think that's what it was. The wow signal, yeah. They've gotten that, but there was also now just recently. Now they had these other radio burst, but yeah, the wow signal there. That was I don't know if that was fake or not because when the way they were talking about it, it said like it was very faint and it seemed like a distress call kind of thing. and then they never heard a thing about it. So if that's true, man, I feel for that planet, man. I really do. Maybe something happened, and you know what I mean. This could have been that radio signal been coming from thousands of miles away, man. And of course, you know, that would be X amount of years in the past that we heard it, and you know what I mean. I would not want to be, you know, in their shoes. Oh, there you go, Michael Stock, Harbor Freight. You can get 5 of these eyepieces. I think it just jumped up on me, so I didn't see the price. I think it was $9. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, you can get them. I mean, heck, we even got a Harbor Freight around here. If you don't, you know, check on eBay. You can get a ton of these things. Rick Rocker Graham. Hi, Chris. Cool video on satellite yesterday. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, like I said, I mean, when you stop, I think most people, when they look at these pictures very quickly, they just kind of look at it and just, okay, next. And that's what these space agencies are counting on. They're like, well, they'll just look it over real quick, and that'll be the end of it. They won't scrutinize them. They won't do anything. But I think this is the reason why. Like I said, I've got external hard drives here with moon photos that I had taken, you know, off the internet a while back. If I was to go back to these same photos, they're completely whited out. Why? Because, excuse me, I think it's because, like I said, they didn't anticipate people doing this kind of scrutinizing on these photos. Now they see people are doing it. They're just telling them, hey, go back to these photos, you know, white it out, wash it out, do what you got to do. We don't need any more of this getting out, which I don't understand. It's kind of like, just let it be, man. Let people see it. What's the big deal? They think people are going to freak out from it. In this day and age with the technology and everything, people are just like, oh, that's cool. I don't think anybody would freak out. Unless, of course, you're a hermit and you never get out. Well, then that's not good. Let's see. Pyramid in 1974. Hey, Chris. Good day to you, bud. What are your thoughts about Antarctic? Well, I mean, I think what we're seeing, and a lot of people have seen this, they've seen what look like pyramid structures and all kinds of other stuff on there, right? I think that's what it is. We're getting a lot of melting on these icy spots. And I think that's what we're starting to see now. We're starting to see these things under the ice, things that were there before the ice age or before these caps or any kind of a lot of these ice sheets were formed. And now that all of these ice sheets formed and everything else, they're being buried. Now that they're melting, we're starting to see a lot more of these things. And that's what I think is cool. That's why people are finding these crazy, things in these photos, right? Yeah, Michael Stock, I have. Chris, have you analyzed Russian Zon mission pics? I did a video on that a while back. You could check out the videos. I could probably try to find it here. I've done one, and it's crazy, man. There's like structures literally lined up. And of course, they're not very good high quality, but when you enhance them, my God, those things pop right out. It's awesome. And I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Let me see if I can look this thing up. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Oops. Let's see if that does anything here. Not sure that's it or not. Let me see here. Yeah, it is. Okay. It is called Structures Found in Soviet Union's 1968 Moon Photos. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys that. You guys are interested in this? I'm going to drop it right here. You guys can check that out. Crazy things on this moon, man. These guys seen this stuff long before the Apollo missions, or at least around that time, right? Yeah. So, yeah, check that out. Pretty cool. I seen that, Bruce. 10-hour stream. Yeah, that'll work. What are you going to do, Bruce? You going to try to get the messenger bag, or you going to do a Skype thing? What do you want to do? We can always do something like that. Satsuki Banzai. You can get undoctored moon images from the JAXA site if you compare them to the Flickr ones on JAXA. One show a ton of structures. Have you heard of it? No, I haven't, because just about every one of them, to be truthful with you, is somehow either washed a little bit, or there's some kind of, purpose blurring going on or something like that. If you got a link to it, go ahead and drop the link. And like I said, I'll just share it. Let's see. Let me see what this in here is. Former NASA scientist claims conspiracy about Mars. Now, Nacho Libre shared that link. Pretty cool. If you guys didn't get it, if it went too far, the comments went too quickly, I'm going to go ahead and share it right now. You guys can check that out. Oh, let's see. I agree with you, Nacho Libre. Yeah, nobody's got to freak out about it. I mean, come on. I think it's silliness, to be truthful with you. In this day and age, maybe back in the days in the 40s when they were like, oh my God, first War of the Worlds, when they had that, remember that broadcast they had out and everybody freaked out, people jumping off of buildings and killing themselves, because it was all new to them, and they made it sound like it was the real deal, the whole 9 yards. But now, come on now. It's, nowadays, the people are like, oh, okay. That probably wouldn't even be, people like us would probably freak out because it'd be like happy as hell, right? And they're finally admitting it. Exactly. Head on Enterprise. Yeah. Once everyone who is interested knows the truth, they already know. There will not be any major freak out. And I agree. I mean, I totally agree with you. There's no way. People would be like, awesome. I mean, it's what they'd be saying. It's about time. All right. I'm going to copy that. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Actually, even to be truthful with you, I'm looking at your comment right now, Bruce. I did get your email, and the only problem with this, I don't even have Skype set up on this one, so I might have to try to find it on the other computer, or I don't even know if I'll even remember well, no, actually I have it written down somewhere. So let me see here. Let's see. I hate it when that happens. All right. Anyway. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and send that to you. Let me see here. Let's mute that real quick. That's why I'm in that. I have no clue. All right. Yeah, I'll send you an email. Oops. I already got it set up. I'll send you one. Man, somebody's cooking over there. Somebody's saying, "Oh, it's on the stove." Joe, what are you having, man? I'm hungry. Let's see. Exactly, Nacho. Yeah, most people would be like, "That's fascinating. Tell tell me more," kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, Michael. Yeah, you're right. They don't. I think they don't disclose to keep population under control. If we knew we can get off this rock and live with other civilization, there won't be any more here to pay taxes. Exactly, because they'd be like, "Oh my God, the guys are killing me every day." Yeah. Um. Let me see. And dropping a native, yeah, I agree. I'd be happy if they came to Earth so I could get off this crazy planet. No, no doubt. Stop it. I want to get off. Ricardo Dorado. Salute to Bruce sees all. How's everything? Man, you guys are having some good stuff to eat. I had a little bit of something to eat earlier too. You guys are making me hungry again. MG Toe, thumbs up everyone. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that button. Smash it. Man, you guys having pub fries? All kinds of stuff over here. James Newton, they have been here the whole time. Yeah, I mean, if the accounts of the ancients, our ancient people, is true, where they put like all of these depictions on rocks and everything else and talk about their gods had come down from the heavens and everything else, if that's all true, then they've been here long before them. Probably before or during the Neanderthals. And said, oh, yeah, clearly we don't want nothing to do with them people right now. And, um, and if we could just stop all the warring and everything going on and actually get along and consider each other an alien or not an alien, but a human race, then they'll look at us and not see us as alien. You know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, they're finally getting their crap together. We can actually invite them out into space, into the neighborhood, so to speak. I'm not sure about Michael. Is there any pics from the Vatican's Lucifer telescope? I don't know. I haven't looked into that to be truthful with you. William Johnson. Hey, Chris from rainy California. I hear that. It's actually cooled down now. It's about 83 degrees here, sunny all day. Really nice. Got up to about 92 degrees, I think it was. So, yeah, a little toasty. Ian Walton. Hi from Australia. What's going on, man? Good to see you in there. Not sure I like that. We still fight over race, color, and religion. Imagine how fast someone here on Earth would F up an alien if they came down here. People would be like, we know better, whack. Yeah, sounds about right, too. And that's the thing. I mean, they probably look at us and go, yeah, we just don't have time to stop for these people. We'll check them out from time to time, and that's pretty much it. They're just not ready. They're just not, because here's the thing. Let's suppose for a minute you're one of these alien races, right? You've been through all of this. Maybe they don't have anything to do with monetary anymore. They don't have anything to do with the fighting and everything. They consider each other as just beings, fellow beings, as opposed to different beings. They're way past and above all that BS. So they move to a higher level, and we're still way down this level. So what do you think is going to happen? I mean, they're just going to be like, well, yeah, these people are going to take time, man. It's going to take time for these people to, again, get their crap together and finally get along. No more war on the planet. Um, so, yeah, God knows how long that will take. Let me see. Let me see, Satsuki. I'm looking at it right now. Looking for it, rather. me see. I'm not seeing it. Go ahead and post it again. If in this way I'll see it. And I'll go ahead and I'll put it on there, Satsuki. Randy Dumez, can my wife get a shout out? Sheila Daniel says hello. Hello, Sheila. How are you? Good to see you guys in there and listening. Good to have you guys in there asking questions and saying hi to everybody. That's awesome, man. It's good to have a good community. You know what I'm saying? What's the latest on Mars or the moon? Ricardo Torado asked. Not a whole lot, man. I haven't heard anything about anything going, more probes going there, at least as of this moment. And the moon, everybody's trying to get there by 2029, even sooner than that. You name it, everybody's trying to do it. And I think it's a question of time. There's going to be a whole bunch of countries up there, and who knows what's going to happen there? Is there going to be fighting over land up there as well? I mean, how do we know, right? Unless, of course, it's the Federation of space agencies, and they will have like a treaty, like that space treaty, and they'll all get along, and there won't be any deviation from what their plan is. Of course, us peons won't know that plan. Let me see here. Let me see here. Well, we're going to go ahead and put that fourth horseman of the apocalypse. There's major discovery in Antarctica, rather. Sangria covered with UV. Okay. Light waves. Yeah, we can go ahead and put that on there. I'll throw that on for you guys if you want to check it out. Oh, let's see. Somebody had put something else here I was going to answer real quick. I agree there, Paul. Yeah, there's only one race on this planet, the human race. Yes, it is that simple. And I totally agree. Why people can't get along is beyond me. And it's like, well, for whatever reason. Randy, she started laughing, huh? That's too funny. Yeah, it's too good to give her a shout out, right? Yep. Renee, yeah. Yep, everybody wants to go to the moon. Why? It's kind of like all these countries wanting to go to Mars. It's like, okay, if, when you got the United States was there first, okay. And they said, cold, dead, nothing on the planet, don't bother. We're just going to do a little digging. Maybe, very vaguely, we might be able to come up with something that maybe resemble a amoeba or something on the ground, maybe building blocks of life, as they called it. But yet they still say, yes, it's a cold, dead, barren planet, but yet everybody's there. What the hell? Everybody's going there for this dead planet. Kind of like the moon. There's nothing there to see, guys. Nothing there. Just keep on walking by. I don't get it. Oh, okay. Fourth Horseman, when I posted that, he said, watch the whole vid. It's scary. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch something. I've seen things similar to that, but I have not watched that particular one, so I'll have to check it out. Oh, let's see. Yeah, it could be H3, helium-3. It's a good possibility, and some of these photos actually look like some of the areas have already been mined. I don't know how crazy that sounds, but when you look at it, you just kind of like, this doesn't make any sense. But how do we know? Again, we've never been to the moon up to, what, late 50s, 60s. We sent the probes first and then, of course, sent man. So, yeah, I mean, we don't know. We have no idea. Now they're getting up there going, oh, crap. You know what I mean? They're starting to see these things and going, okay. So are they trying to get the technology from these things, whether it's structures, crafts, or whatever it may be? Because I've done videos, plenty of them, where it looks like once you get rid of all the wash over the photo, you can see what looks like crashed the spacecraft on the moon. I mean, they're literally just sideways and laying on the ground. And yeah, it's just crazy, man. It makes you wonder. Skeptic, optimist. Yeah, it makes you wonder. Yeah, it's a good question. Do you think that money exists on other galaxies or just on Earth? I don't know, man. It's just like, imagine a civilization that is kind of like, what can we compare it to? Like Amish country, right? Go back in the time. Now, a lot of them are becoming more, interactive where they're going to McDonald's and stuff. But if you go back to like the Amish country, they got together and they said, oh, this person needs a barn built. Well, they'd go and they'd build a barn. They didn't charge anything for it. They just got together as a group, built it, and on they went. There was no monetary gain. There was no nothing for it. They just did this and boom, they got it done. I think they're above all that. You know what I mean? And if they're not, then it's still a lot more simplistic than we have here on Earth, I think. Yeah, Melissa Lopez. Yeah, alien beings don't interact with us because they know some of us are not ready. They have no benefit in interacting with us. But if they see that we are destroying this planet, they will intervene. And that's true. They've also, like I said, that video I did about the space treaty, the top secret space treaty, where they're saying, listen, it's one thing, we'll let you guys run your own course, but you're not bringing that crap out in space. You're not taking your nuclear weapons or any kind of weaponry out in space. We just won't have it. And good for them. Listen, you want to beat each other's asses, go for it, but we're not letting you take that crap out here. Keep it in your backyard. And I can understand that. Satsuki, can you please create a Discord channel for your community to interact with you and community? I have to look into that because I'm not really sure, what it entails, but I'll check it out. Peace, everyone. Got to go. Thank you, Chris. Eric Wood, I'm glad you stopped in, man. Appreciate it. You have yourself a good night and a better day tomorrow, right? Yeah, Dollar, you're not seeing it either, right? I'm not seeing Satsuki Banzai's link either. And I'm thinking maybe I looked over it, just kind of glanced over because there was so many. Like I said, I'm trying to read each one of these. And all of a sudden, I'll just happen to go down a little bit on that bar, on the scroll bar, and everybody would just go flying upward. And I thought maybe I missed it. Andromeda native, they crash when they fly out of the wrong portal. I mean, there's no way of knowing, right? I mean, it's just kind of like, you don't know if they were there. There was a war on the moon at one time. There's ancient civilizations that talked about that. Wars on Mars as well as the moon. So was there a giant war going on? Maybe they could see flashes over the moon at night and they're just saying, what the hell is going on there? Maybe some kind of war. And this is the reason why we're seeing those things. Or did they just have a major malfunction and they could never get off the moon's surface, off the lunar surface itself? Who knows? Phil Cox, you guys rock. Keep up the excellent work. Well, I appreciate it, man. So what we can do is just bring it out to you guys and everybody jump on it. I mean, because that's what it comes down to, right? I mean, I tell everybody this is the reason why I started doing the videos, because I was looking at these things, looking at these photos, man, I got to share these with people and see what they think. And that's how I started off. And, and it's grown to be a great community, man, because there's like-minded, minds like myself, looking at this stuff and saying, man, I want to pull this stuff apart myself. It's amazing how many people have already gotten like either some kind of imaging software or anything like that, like GIMP, Photoshop. Said, man, I got inspired to get this. I'm now looking at these photos. It's just crazy what I'm finding. Everything from these, these little magnifiers and everything else, and it seems to work really well. So yeah. Yeah, Suzuki, I don't know. My post doesn't get sent if I post a link. Please help. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me see something here. I don't know if you can do it now. If you can, throw the link in the comment section of this. I don't know if it'll be there yet. That's the problem. It's saying it's live, so you may not be able to do that because it usually doesn't go on YouTube until after it's processed and everything else. But that's weird how you can't do that because everybody else seems to be able to throw something on there. Let me go back to this, make sure. Yeah. Okay. I am Walden. Cup of tea time. Yeah, sounds like a good idea, man. James Newton, Chris, you are the shite. Sir, thank you for all your videos. Well, I appreciate it, James. Like I said, I mean, I love the interaction I get because a lot of people, like I said, I look at these photos and sometimes you go, dude, you totally missed something. But there's a lot of times I try to do this to larger things that really stand out so people can see it better. And sometimes I don't sometimes I don't see them. And then sometimes I do it purposely because then everybody goes, hey, did you see this part? Because it's almost like, I want to let you guys find some of the Easter eggs. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, it's cool to do that. And everybody's like finding this stuff. Go, wow, I can't believe this is awesome. And then some of you guys found some astounding things, man. I'm just like, man, I didn't even see that. Sometimes you got to back away from a photo and then really look at it as an overall. And then you see some crazy stuff as opposed to being right into the photo itself. I don't know. It's just, it's awesome though. Let me see what this is here. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's the one I posted earlier. Head on Enterprise, that one about the Soviet Union. Let me see here. I'm just checking these links real quick for you guys. Oh, this one here is from CERN. Okay. Can antimatter be used as an energy source? Let me see. I'll go ahead and post this if anybody's interested. And anybody can check it out. JRRS, hi Chris. I saw your videos related to the asteroid Ryugu, but I don't agree with what you said about all of the civilizations always make to look natural. Well, I mean, is it possible? Like I said, because when I say that, I mean by if, let's suppose you wanted to send a probe out to different solar systems or universe, whatever, just way out past our solar system and into others, and you didn't want to be seen. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's probably equipment that can detect any power source in it, or so on and so forth. Is it possible you can just have an inner shell that blocks out that stuff so they can't see an energy source and everything else, and just kind of just coast right through these solar systems and literally be able to check out all of the civilizations without being seen? It's like just right out there in plain sight, but yet you're hidden. So, yeah. It's a possibility they may be just smarter than that. Instead of sending something that looks obviously like a spacecraft, and if you're seen, how do you know you don't go into some solar system where it has, I'm going to call them evil aliens. You know what I mean? How do we know? We don't know. It's possible. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just space junk, as they said. But what's really wild about it is you got what looks like intelligently made things like crammed into it. So how do we account for that? Cosmic Knight. Hello, my good sir. Do you follow Richard Dolan? Not familiar with him. maybe I do know them, but I'm not sure off the top of my head. I don't know if you got is it if that are they on YouTube? And if you do you have a link to it? I can check it out. What happens if you Satsui? What happens if you separate the actual address? See what that does, and then anybody who wants it, they can just put it together in the address bar or whatever. Yeah, Phil Cox, you're not the only one. I think the Martians have downsides. It kind of sounds funny when you say that, but there's a lot of things I've seen that look incredibly small, and you go, how do how does that work? Because I've seen where you can see the actual Curiosity wheel, and you can see these little things. They look like they're intelligently made, even if it's a carved stone or whatever it is. Unless, of course, it was some larger person and just carved it and threw it on the ground. I don't know. But you're not the first one to say that. Look like small structures and people on loads of loads of these images. Yeah. Brian, it's a great question. Chris, are you ever hesitant to talk about your channel at your real job, but failure to think you're a whack job? Find myself not telling people I believe because people are closed-minded. It depends on how you bring it out to them. If you just like throw it at them, they just think, "Oh shit!" There's like too much information. It's like overload. If somebody starts talking about a particular topic, and somehow it's to do with something like that, and I'll just like throw a comment in. I was like, "Yeah, I think that's Let's say they say something about the moon. I was like, "Yeah, yeah." There's a friend of mine that actually does things about and checks things out on um, the moon and stuff like that, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, yeah. Well, what does he see? Does he see anything? Oh yeah. Well, he sees this." And then then I'll talk about it. They go, "Oh wow, that's pretty interesting." And I don't have them going like, "Oh my god, this guy's nuts." I don't see them doing that, and it's because they're like, "Really?" Like they want to know. And a lot of these people have watched like things like Ancient Aliens and stuff like that. So again, we're being desensitized. While people they're not in shock. Now there are people that just go around their just normal lives and they never think outside the box. Those are the people who think you're weird. They'll be like, "What the hell are you even talking about?" Like I said before, just go ask any of your friends. "Hey, you guys seen the latest photos from the Curiosity rover?" They'll go, "Okay, what's that? Is that a dog rover?" And they won't have a clue. They won't have a clue what you're talking about. And then some of them will be like, "Yeah, I heard something about it. Isn't that some kind of weird little rover or something that's on Mars?" They may not know all the information, but they get an idea, right? So you will run into people like that, but I guess it's just you just got to talk to the people who almost like you can tell they're interested just by sometimes we'll bring up the topic, um, and that's when you can kind of segue into it, right? Studious realism. What was the video that had an angel in it? I'm not sure. Great question. Val. Yes. Let me see here. I'm just gonna go ahead and check that out. Your link did show up. Um, and like I said, I've got to okay it, so it is there. But for some reason, I could not see his. I'm going to go ahead and show yours right there. You can see it right there, not far from the bottom. If you guys scroll up, you can see Val's says, "I'm testing. Can I put links here?" Yeah, absolutely. It's there. No problem. But like I said, I have to okay it. But here's the thing, though. I haven't seen it, and that's what's weird. That's why I said if he puts it on again and I see it, I'm definitely going to go ahead and throw it on there. Because guys, if you guys get great links, I'm going to go ahead and share it. I don't care if it's from your channel, as long as it's along the topics that we're sharing here. I'll put it on there, man. Give you some exposure. I think anybody who's trying to get the truth out, or just saying, "Hey, look at I found on here, and I think it's legit." Whether you're spot on or not doesn't mean anything. Some other people might say, "Hey, man, I see something what you see, and a little extra," or "I don't see what you see, but I see this." So I'll back anybody who's trying to do this from their heart and trying to get the information out, right? Richard is a storehouse of UFO info. Yeah, I don't know if I even have. I'd like to check his page out. Okay, yeah, Valley saying he's on Richard Dolan. He has a channel. If any of you guys get the link, go ahead and drop it in here because I'll check it out myself. Kenneth Lair, appreciate it, man. Appreciate the support. Chris, you are awesome at what you do. Keep the great work. Well, I appreciate that, man. Head on Enterprise, please smash the like button if you haven't already. Yeah, nail that thing, guys. Oh, where did it go? I think I just seen one here. Hold on. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and okay it right there. Suzuki. Okay, so it's right there. It has showed up. I okayed it, so we had no problem with that link. Current alien encounters from Richard Dolan. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and drop this link as well. So I did get that Cosmic Knight. And I just okayed yours. Throw it in there just to make sure if nobody's grabbed it. Let me see. That's pretty interesting. Let me go back to here. Yeah, Phil Cox, I've seen that. I'm going to go ahead and okay it there so people can see your link. If you have any, I'm going to call it manipulation software like Photoshop or anything like that, what you need to do, because when you zoom in, you see how you use that zoom tool, and I believe that's Windows zoom tool. When you zoom it and see what you can do is if you put it in the enhancing software, you can put a slight blur in there to get rid of all of those little that grid pattern they put over the photos. It gets on my nerves big time. I'm going to go ahead and okay that one too, Zatsuki. Show it. Boom. There it is. Just scroll up a little bit and you'll see it. Let me get rid of that. All right. I am Walden. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and show that too. That link you just dropped. Yeah, Dollar should be able to see that now. Well, see, you should be able to see it. Dollar, when you just put on there Suzuki Banzai, no, can't see it. Just go up just a little bit. He's just up from that. I okayed it. It should be on there. Let me see. Christian Yu. Hello, guys. Greetings from Austria. Greetings. What's happening? Good to have you in there. Rick Rocker Graham. I have shown people Chris's channel, and by doing so, opened their minds. When I told them what he was bringing out in these pics, it was unbelievable to them until they saw it with their own eyes. And I appreciate you doing that, Rick. I mean, well, here's the thing. I mean, you have to let people make their own decisions. You can't just cram it down their throat. There's a lot of channels out there that say, no, this is it. That's all. That's it. And you can't do that to people. People need to be able to see this stuff for themselves. Like the old saying goes, you can, lead a horse to water. and let them make their own decisions. That's what it comes out to. You can't just say, this is it, that's it, and that's the end of it. No, I like the idea of getting different views about it. You know what I mean? Let me see. Val, I want to go ahead and show you your link. Nacho Libre. Man, appreciate the support, brother. Keep it coming. Well, definitely will be. And here's the thing. It's, there's a lot of times, some guys will say, well, you only, doing so many videos, but there's times you'll see I'll try to, at least two, no less than two a week, but I try to do 2 to 3. Work's been crazy. Like, you guys know this, you go to work and sometimes it's an easy day and then sometimes it's totally mental. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you got to kind of like, oh man. So, it frustrates me, to be honest with you, because I'm coming home and I'm like, man, I just don't have enough time. I want to try to knock these things out for you guys. And I want to, because I got so much on these computers. I got 2 of them sitting here that I've got work in this one in Photoshop and I got different work in the other one. And I'm trying to get these things done because I got videos to knock out. And I'm thinking, man, if I could just have more time, it'd be awesome. But, things get in the way. You know what I'm saying? Andromeda Native, appreciate it. Appreciate the support, man. So you guys are awesome, man. But I love this because I can see you guys talking amongst yourselves, talking about, this, that, and, talking about different topics. Okay, Dolly, you see it now too. Okay. Now let me see. Okay, Phil, I'm going to go ahead and put your link on there. This link is a video of examples of writings I've come across. Okay. Yeah, James. Yeah, all the links are popping up. See, that's the thing. As long as when you guys hit as long as you guys put the link in the, when you go ahead and, make the comment, as long as I see it or it goes into it, I can okay it. But obviously, if it doesn't, somehow it doesn't go through. If you hit it and somehow it doesn't go up, then I can't do anything with it. Because I want to share all the work you guys are doing. Some of you guys are just saying either referring videos that'll open people's minds, and some of it's your own work. Yeah. See, I'm not even sure what that is, Zazuki. Has anyone else heard of Discord? I'm thinking Chris should have one so we can share our thoughts on his topics with the community. I'd like to be able to do something like that, like have my own site too. You know what I mean? There's a friend of mine that does this kind of work. So I need to actually check with him and just maybe just build my own site and stuff like that. Because that would be awesome too. Well, yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. I mean, I'm trying to remember the other one. I started it when it first came out, and I don't even remember what it is now. It's been so long. I actually started the page, started putting videos up, and then I just quit going back to it. It's not that I don't want to. It's just I just hadn't had the time, and I put it on the back burner, and then totally forgot about it. So, yeah, it can be. Yeah, I'll look into that, Zetsuki. No problem. Yeah. You should go Google Discord that specializes in text, images, video, and audio communication between users in the chat channel. Yeah. I'll definitely check into it. Search. All right. Phase level 1 of NASA's 3D Habitat Challenge. Yeah, I know that's going to be actually pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen that, but they're going to try to do like a 3D. They're going to have like 3D machines on there. They're going to build these structures. At least that's one of the options they had to build these things before the astronauts get there. So, or man and women get there. I'll go ahead and drop this link. Pretty cool. And I'm going to go ahead and way to go, Noodles. I'm going to go ahead and make that live there. And I'm going to go ahead and drop it again in case it went by too fast for you guys. You didn't see it. Sometimes this happens. Question: Ice on Mars poles, H2O frozen methane. Anyone know? It's actually, believe it or not, they were saying at one point it was CO2, it was carbon ice, and I flagged BS on that. Only because when you look at, and anybody can do this, look at just Google Hubble images of Earth. I mean, I'm sorry, of Mars, and you can see the actual polar caps. It's the same way it is here on Earth. They get larger in the colder months and they shrink in the warmer months. Well, and I said, well, what the hell is putting the water back? And they said, well, it's because of the pressure. Due to pressure, it actually puts these caps. I went, no, I don't believe that. When you look at the clouds, there's water in the soil. It gets up to 70 to 104 degrees. I can't find that link now, but I actually found it a while back. It said the Curiosity registered 104 degrees in the shade, and it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, people will say, "Well, yeah, but it's further away from the sun than Earth is." Yeah, but according to them, there's no really, well, there's spotty kind of radiational magnetic fields, kind of like blocking in some areas. But when you think about it, it's like, well, if there's really no atmosphere, what's to screen out the heat? What's to stop it? So you'd think you'd get at least the equivalent with an extra little extra radiation. You think you'd get at least the equivalent of heat like Earth does because of a thinner atmosphere. So yeah, but then, and I said, no, there's water on these poles. There's no doubt in my mind after doing some research of my own and looking through their stuff, and then coming up with my own conclusions. And guess what? Not long after that, it said, yeah, there's water ice. There's H2O underneath the carbon ice. So yeah. Great question, by the way. Let me see. Larry Baker, this poor camera BS needs to stop. They have cameras on satellites that can read the words in a book. And you're absolutely right. They've had that since the 50s. Why they still get this trash out, still showing this garbage is beyond me. But here's the thing. I believe that the photos that are coming from the rover, and of course it gets uplinked to the orbiters, the MRO and other orbiters, and then once they're closest, meaning they're facing Earth, they send the information back to Earth. And I think they're pristine photos. But I also think that the rover itself may have an algorithm that if there's anything of any, I'm going to say shapes, let's say it's just simple shapes, it automatically tries to mask it itself. So maybe if somehow the information is intercepted through some kind of encryption or something like that, that some people could see it. So it does its like kind of own encryption and then they can unencrypt it, or they just get it in and then they do their magic to it. Because like I said, they have a CGI department that at one point they laid off 250 of them. What are you kidding me? 250? How many were left? I mean, that's what you got to understand. It's like, that's crazy. Cosmic Knight. Are you familiar with David at Air, Chris? No, I'm not. The name seems to ring a bell, but I'm not sure. If you were to ever team up with someone, it would be him. He's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I think I've heard of the name. Not 100% sure, though. Go easy on that captain there, Joe Blow. Go easy. I don't want to see you falling over there. Rocket Wonder Boy hired to fix a living craft at Area 51. Okay. Let me see what this is. Might be something you guys might be interested in. Let me see here. Just get a look at one of these. All right. Well, it says UFOs land in yard and shapeshifter UFO May. I'm not sure what that's. I'm not familiar with the UFOs over New York. Yeah, you guys might be interested in this. Go ahead and share it. All right. Cruiser X. I just made that link available. You guys can check it out. Cruiser X dropped this, and that's the UFOs over New York channel on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, that's what they say, Phil. I don't know how true that is. 3 foot atmosphere on Mars, meaning it's just right off the ground itself. Um, so being small would be the only solution to survive. Yeah, I mean, I believe that, but on the other side of the token, I think they're not telling us the whole deal there. You know what I mean? As far as the atmospheric conditions, I think there's more to it than they're saying. The way they when I first heard about what they said about the atmosphere was this: they said, well, because Mars's atmosphere has been ripped away for thousands, maybe millions of years. It's like, well, how is there still an atmosphere at all then? There shouldn't be anything on the planet. It should be like just a total vacuum, right? And yet they don't say that. So, like they said when they talked about the carbon ice, they said it doesn't even melt; it just sublimates, which basically turns into a vapor, and out the atmosphere it goes. Well, if that's true, then how is it becoming an ice cap or a polar cap later? I don't get it. So that's why I just said, okay. And then all these different researches I did come to the conclusion. I'm saying, no, that's bull. And then I said, I actually made a prediction. I said, they're going to find a body of water, maybe small, maybe large, but they're going to find it. What do they find? One of the poles, underground water. There's a lake underneath there. I think it was like a mile um, in width, but it was only like 3 feet underground. In other words, it was like only just like a cavern. And the only way that satellite could see it is it had to be at least a foot deep, or else um, uh, it did not see it or register it. So yeah, Darla, you taking off? If you are, you have yourself a good night. Thanks for stopping in. Um, Tatsuki Banzai, do you think the Anunnaki are real, fake, or just symbolism? That's a great question. I think they're real to a certain degree. Some of them talk about Planet X and all this other crap is going to crash into our planet and all this other mess. That part I don't think is true. Um, I believe the Anunnaki are real, at least according to ancient civilizations, talking about them and how they changed the DNA and stuff like that. Now, it's been written, at least in their writings, that they wrote about it, that those gods came down and they changed the DNA of Neanderthals, and this is the way, and this is how we become what we are today. We were used as slaves at one point, and yeah, so they decided. I guess they were going to trash everybody on the planet once they made us into slaves, and they said, "Well, we'll just go ahead and now we'll just trash them. We got we needed. We'll just go ahead and trash them." And they, of course, they were against it, and they were fighting amongst each other and said, "No, no, no, leave them be." And that was the end of that. You'd have to actually read the whole story in order to get it, because I'm just throwing little tidbits at you. But interesting read if you ever check it out. Well, see, that's what I was getting at. The Sumerians itself. Uh, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know about the 900 years old thing. I do know that they were older. Oh, they were a lot older than obviously we are, or we can live to today. Um, but yeah, I mean, they talk about it like it's literally etched in stone, right? And through their writings, they talk about how their gods came down, taught them all kinds of stuff, agriculture, everything else. And then, of course, at first though, they used us as slaves, and again, they did mine gold and stuff like that for their atmosphere and all this other stuff. Um, is any of it true? I don't know. Again, I asked this question before. Was there sci-fi writers way back in the day? I don't know. What would inspire them to do that? Today you could do that because there's so much of the sci-fi out there that you can make your own video movie yourself, because you'd be inspired by everything you've seen that's anything related to sci-fi, right? So yeah. Yes. Yep. Yep, Joe Blow, the real one, the Book of Enoch. Yep. There's a lot of stuff that's been taken out of the original Bible too. That's what people have to understand. Yeah, you're right. Andromeda native. Yeah, the years were different from Earth years. I don't remember what it was. I don't know. It was like 300. It was like 3,600 years um, to their to our 1 year. I forget what the ratio was on it, but because they have an elliptical, you know what I mean? They fly an elliptical, and every 3,600 years they come back, so on and so forth. So I've heard about that a little bit, Suzuki. I'm not really sure. I can't say that I researched it, so I'm not going to really say too much about it. I've heard a little bit about it, but that's all I can say. I don't, I can't say that I have. Yeah, yeah, Joe Blow. All our tech has evolved from scripts. Well, if you go back to the Mahabharata, like in India and stuff like that, again, these guys were they inspired? Were they like sci-fi writers way back in the day, where they talked about these great crafts or ships in the sky shooting at each other with weapons that were brighter than our sun, and X amount of times brighter than our sun. And they've even talked about how there was wars on the moon and Mars and so on and so forth. So it makes you wonder, where did these guys pull this crap out of? Did they just say, like I said, just decide to be a sci-fi writer, or did they actually witness this stuff? And this is the reason why they put it down in stone, literally. Um, and in other civilizations put like these other groups of people put like on different other drawings, carvings, you name it, they've done it. You know, hieroglyphs, to me, I think it's the real deal. They saw what they said, and they saw what they saw, and they said, well, you know what? It's important enough for us to actually put it in and literally writing in their own way, right? So it was important enough for them to do it. They're not just going to just sit there and just do it for no reason. Just go ahead and etch this stuff for no reason. Yes, the Vimanas. Yep. And if I remember correctly, it was Hitler that went over to India. He traveled all over trying to get these blueprints, if you will, for the Vimanas and stuff like that. Yeah, Melissa Lopez. Yeah, they witnessed that what I believe they did the spaceship ship. Well, that's what I'm saying. They see them in the sky, and like I said, back then it's not like they had phones where they could just take a picture of it or whatever. But so they seen something that compel them to want to write about it, draw pictures of it in caves, so on and so forth. Come on now. High tech equipment that build megalithic structures. Yeah, I mean, even like I said, look at the pyramids in Egypt. I mean, you can't even slip a razor blade between them blocks. Even to this day, you would think something as heavy as that would settle into the ground. The blocks would start to come apart. The whole nine yards. And it's not true. Go into the king's chambers in some of these, and they're absolutely phenomenal, man. It's just awesome. Yep, exactly. Hitler and the team went on an expedition to India to learn about the Vimanas. It's crazy. Well, that's what I'm saying. And he didn't only go there; he went to other countries as well, because they're like, again, he heard about it. Let's snatch up all this idea. I mean, you're talking about these crafts that would work with mercury, um, and so you got centrifugal force, you got mercury, and this is how these things were built. Got these engines going and stuff like that. It's just crazy stuff. Exactly, Nacho Libre. Yeah, imagine being a caveman for 1 second. What on this planet would make you do paintings about UFOs like we see today? That's some serious brain, super brain right there. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, now let's suppose for a moment. Let's go with that idea. Let's suppose for a moment you go back to even medieval times or Egyptian times, and you seen something in the sky that wasn't a bird. Okay, what would you consider them? If it landed or just flew in the sky, I would consider them as gods because they're above me, literally. But you would look at these things and go, "My God! I mean, what the hell is that?" And you would say, "Well, clearly they have they're able to fly, so they're better than I am. Clearly, they're my gods." So yeah, I mean, it's not hard to believe that these people would, uh, consider them gods back in the day, right? No, I don't think I've seen that, Brian. Chris, did you see the YouTube video just released about the blueprint of the Vimana? on a cave wall. Can't remember YouTuber's name. He was funny. He has a funny voice. Um, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but that'd be interesting to see. Yeah, fourth horseman of the apocalypse. Yeah, I'm all for the complete disassembly of the Great Pyramid. A lot of questions will be answered. Well, here's the thing. I mean, when you think about it, there's many writings talking about how there's like these underground caverns and everything else. And of course, everybody thought it was, the scientists thought it was BS. But now, guess what? Through radar, they can bring portable radar and literally go over the ground. And they're seeing these great caverns underneath the Sphinx, underneath the pyramids, and between the pyramids and everything else. It's not bull. It's absolutely true. Everything our ancient people have been saying is now coming true. So, yeah, makes you wonder, right? Noodles, Li-Fi is photon-based Wi-Fi, 1,000 times faster than Wi-Fi. I contend some UFOs are programming us in some way when we see them. Yeah, or it's just like I don't even know how to explain it because it's got to be this weirdness when you see that thing, man. Just or like you said, maybe it's this weird thing that giving off, and it's like programming us. I don't know. Look at the phenomenal travel videos. Talks about ancient Hinduism and the advanced past. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, will claim that we were probably smarter back in the day. Now, but they go, well, I don't see how they can be. They didn't have what we have today. Well, you don't have to have a computer to be smart. You know, you see the way they cut these blocks with like laser, absolutely perfect cuts. Um, how do they do that back in the day? And how do they, when you go to Soxy Woman, where they got those blocks melted together like a jigsaw puzzle? It's almost impossible. You say you literally have to have some kind of, something that would melt this rock right there with you everywhere you go. And they still try to figure out how they do it today. Although some of them, as far as the pyramids go, they say, well, we got the answer to it. We know how they did it. Really? Well, go ahead and do it today. I know this, there's some people said, well, there's one guy that actually moved a whole block by himself because of rollers and stuff. That doesn't mean that's how it was done. Even though you can simulate it, it doesn't mean that's how it was done, right? So, yeah. No, let me see this one here. I'm not sure what this one is. I actually like this channel, UFO TV. It's actually a good channel. No, UFO Secret, a friendship case feature film. I'll go ahead and drop that link if you guys are interested in that. This channel has a lot of good stuff on it. I like it. I've watched this stuff quite a bit myself, and got awesome stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and drop it here, and I'm gonna go ahead and make you a link live as well, so that people can see it. Randy, that's funny. I live in an apartment. I live in an apartment. Is it possible to recommend a blonde kid for relocation to Mars? We're constantly running in the halls. Oh man, that's good. Yeah, if we could just beam them up, just drop them somewhere else. Eamon Barr, hi from Northern Ireland. What's going on? Good to have you in here. Good morning to you. Bush Corey, when do you think NASA will put a man on Mars? Unless you already think that they have already done this. There's speculation that they already have. That there's already people on Mars, and they've been doing this since the 50s and 60s. Because I look at it this way. I mean, if you can go to the moon, right? Why not go to Mars too? As long as you get enough oxygen, food, so on and so to get there and back. It wouldn't even surprise me if one country said, you know what, you guys, we've already been to the moon. I bet I can beat you to Mars. And of course, these astronauts get there and they never can leave. So either they knew that there was food there, if that's true, because it's pure speculation. But if that ever happened, think about this a minute. They can't come back because they wouldn't have the fuel or anything else to come back, unless they built something, good enough back then where once you break away from the Earth's gravity, or you could just coast in the trajectory that you want to go. And then, of course, you just have to slow yourself down once you get to Mars. So as long as you get enough fuel, you can lift back off because the gravity is not supposed to be as much on Mars as well. So therefore, you can lift off and come back. I don't know. Again, pure speculation, but how do we know somebody hasn't tried it? Maybe they tried it and maybe the astronauts died. Who knows? We will never know. Suzuki Banzai, do you think the world governments would allow third-party companies to go to the moon when that reveal the truth they have been suppressing? I think they're already doing that anyway. If you think about it, this is the reason why you got Elon Musk now working with NASA. I was hoping he wouldn't do that. I was hoping he'd actually have his own company, just do his own thing. But I think it's this weird, of course, they got to sign an agreement and all this other crap. Listen, if you're going to be in the circle, so to speak, if you're going to be in the circle, you're going to sign this. You break the thing, we just kill you off. Whatever it is that they do to you. But, it's like, we'll let you see everything you need to see, but you got to keep this to yourself. And think about it. If somebody came to you right now today, any one of you guys, you can answer yay or nay, or just give your comment. If a government official approached you today and said, listen, we're going to take you down there. We know, you like me. I always thought about this once in a while. If they came to my door and said, listen, we need you to stop doing what you're doing. In fact, you will stop doing what you're doing. But this is what we'll do for you. We're just going to let you in on this. But if we let you in on this, you have to not make another video ever for the rest of your life. Can't say another word to anybody. Or again, you will disappear and your family will too. And then they take you to this place and they show you the real photos of Mars. You'd be like blown away. You wouldn't know how to act. You'd be like, what? I don't think you could comprehend because you've been lied to so much. Then everything's been covered up. Then when you see the real deal, it would probably scare the hell right out of you because you're not used to seeing something other than we or our structures, vehicles, whatever it may be. And I think that's what happened to the Apollo 11 astronauts when they went to the moon and seen what they seen. And this is the reason why when they came back for that press conference, they look like, again, like something major, catastrophic happened in their life. Maybe their parents died in a car crash or whatever it might have been. They just looked awful. I mean, them guys, they didn't want to be there. And I know I showed you that video, that small video bite where you can see them. They're like, oh my God. They're literally sitting there going, oh man. You could tell they didn't want to be there because they couldn't tell what they saw. Two, they had to hoax this lie like, oh my God. I mean, what do we tell these people? I mean, like I said, when they asked them, did you guys, one of the people in the press conference said, did you guys see any stars? And they're looking at each other like, did you see stars? I didn't see stars. Think about it. Would you be concerned about stars if you were literally looking at something on the moon that wasn't us? Think about it. You wouldn't. You'd be like so wrapped up in what you're looking at. You wouldn't even stars. Who the hell cares about that shit? I'd be looking at what the hell's in front of me. Come on. Seriously. Yeah, exactly, Phil Cox. Yeah, there's evidence all over the world of advanced ancient civilization of deluge wiped them out. Wiped them all out. And then we entered the Dark Ages. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, when you look at the Sumerian tablets, they talk about the Great Flood in much more detail than the Bible does. Where they have the 7 days of creation, they have 7 tablets of creation, and of course, it's very lengthy. So, I mean, there's so much that these people talk about. And it's not just one ancient civilization. There's a whole bunch of writings about all of this. And every time you have a great cataclysm or anything like that, it sets you way back to basically the Dark Ages. What would happen if we had a huge EMP from the sun today? What would happen? It literally would singe everything on the planet, except for unless it was shielded. And then you would be put back in the Dark Ages. People would literally go out of their minds. I don't think anybody really stops and thinks about it because they take it for granted. They just flip on a light switch and boom, your lights are on. So yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if that ever happened today, oh my God, Total pandemonium. Just think about that a minute. I remember seeing what was a power outage? I think it was over in New Jersey where they had power outage and people were like going crazy just to get water out of there. They were literally fist fighting and beating the crap out of each other just for the simple water, man. Now, picture you can't get gas, can't go buy food. You start just going absolutely crazy. For things you take for granted every day, it would be total pandemonium. Um, Suzuki, great question. Do you think NASA or higher ups in the government would kill Elon Musk? Just hit the mic here. If he exposed the truth and showed evidence, I would say something. It would be a terrible accident. Let's just put it that way. I mean, but because he's supporting them and he's using his rockets now, so on and so forth. Uh, think about this a minute. Let's say you were Elon and now you're in the inner circle, so to speak. So now you can see all of these photos and everything, and he's going, "Wow, I'm just so happy to be in in the here and now. Like we're building these crafts, we're going to these places, and he's seeing the real deal. So why would you say anything? He'd be like, "I'll keep it to myself. I don't have a problem with that." He actually wants to die on Mars. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but he wants to die on Mars. He's like, yeah, and he wants to have electric vehicle on Mars, and he doesn't. He's not talking about like a roadster. They mean like an actual Mars craft, or meaning some kind of like almost like the Curiosity rover, only something you sit in, something along them lines, and it'll be made by Tesla. Um, and if the atmosphere is as crazy as they say it is, you won't need combustion engine because you got electric. This is the reason why they use all electric on these planets or the moon, because anything that's you don't need oxygen, you don't need any of that crap. It's all electric, so works out perfectly. But I don't know. I think they would if he actually did get pissed off and say, "Oh, I think I'm just going to tell the world about what's going on there." He might find might be in a terrible accident. The truth was disclosed and nobody cared. Not sure what you're saying there, Noodles. You're right, Philip. Yeah, if I was a nation and I started saying we was going to the moon, or I'm sorry, going to Mars before 2027, I bet other nations would try to beat us. And it's true, though. I mean, it's kind of like that space race all over again, right? But I don't believe in the space race. I don't think that's the case at all. I think we actually got along with the Soviet Union. It was the Soviet Union back then. Um, but what better way to throw a stick in the spokes than saying, "Oh, we're just enemies. We hate each other," and yet they're still working together because they were doing a lot of things together back in the day. And even if they weren't, it wouldn't matter. They still were up there. They seen something, as far as I'm concerned. They seen something in a telescope and said, "You know what? We need to get up there." Now you've got the Apollo missions going up there, and then you had the Lunicod. They had their own version. They were going to send man up there, the Soviet Union, but they decided not to and send the Lunicod rovers up there, which are, I think they were 8-wheeled electric rovers. And so they went up there too, which is pretty smart. You don't have to worry about, people dying up there, but you don't have any hands on. Think about it. We go up there, see what the stuff is, pull it apart, hold it in your hands, take pictures of it, send it back. I mean, think about it. It wasn't up there for moon rocks. Come on now. And these guys, they said, well, we can get a firsthand look, so we don't get deprived of seeing what's really on the moon. So we're going to send our own rover up there and just take good pictures, send the information back, good to go. So, no, Satsuki, I'm not. Are you ever worried about about your own safety because of the work you do? Not really. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I haven't like looked around every now and then and kind of like, so it's you kind of want to in a sense. I've known people who had these weird vans parked outside. Um, I don't know. I haven't had that, at least unless they're using other vehicles. But not really. But I do keep my eyes open. Well, that's a good point, Andromeda native. Yeah, I believe some planets' economy is based on water. Whoever has the most water is rich and in power. Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, water is actually energy too, right? Hydrogen and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, That would be interesting. Yeah, I see you guys saying. Great question, Kenneth. Chris, have you thought about trying to track down some of these fired CGI people and get them on your show? That would be awesome. If I could do that, that would be cool. Maybe they got disgruntled or something. Yeah, they fired me. And, just turn around and said, I just want to get this information out. Contact me. Elon Musk, deathbed confession. I hope I'm around to see that. That would be something. I mean, it's not like other people haven't done it, right? Never can tell. Well, like I said, it'll probably be on Mars when that happens. So yeah. Yeah, you guys are talking about Mad Max. Yeah, they're talking about well, it was water as well as petrol though. But yeah, it was pretty funny. It's like actually it was crazy back then. They had to literally like they had to barter, for fuel or water or whatever it was. All right, guys, looks like we're going to be closing this out. Man, this is awesome. You guys are awesome, man. This is great. Let's see now. 3 minutes in, it'll be like 2 hours we've been on here. I like doing this because I mean, time goes by so quickly, man. You're sitting there just answering questions, watching the conversations with you guys, and next thing you know, boom. It's like before you know, you're like, man. Um, so yeah, I appreciate you guys jumping in there, man. And yeah, you're right about that, Andromeda. Yeah, Chris and Bruce are too public for them to be taken out. It would be too obvious, and that's true. I mean, don't get me wrong; they can make it look like an accident if they wanted to, but you know, just when you get out, just check your brakes. Just go out and make sure they're all right. You don't have any puddles under your car, like things been cut. Um, I switched from vans to black Priuses, huh? Uh, but believe it or not, anything's possible, right? Brian Norton, Chris, I love this. Thanks again. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, if it wasn't for you guys, there would be no channel, right? So, I appreciate you guys being here and, throwing your comments back and forth. Everybody's saying hello to each other, exchanging information. That's what these are all about. And hopefully we can get Bruce on there. So I've actually got the email open. I'm going to go ahead and email him. And like I said, I think I even have to set up a Skype on this computer too, because I don't think I have it set up on this new one. Haven't used Skype in about 100 years. Actually, I'm kidding, but it's been a while since I've used it, so we definitely need to set it up and get them back on there. I know you guys would like to see that again, so we're definitely going to be doing that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, man. I really appreciate you guys being there and all the support you guys showed. It was just awesome. You guys are great. And again, we'll be doing it next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And what we're going to try to do, like I said, if we can, we'll get Bruce on. I love to be able to do this every Wednesday. What do you guys think about that? And so we can kind of break up the week and still get videos in there as well. What do you guys think about that idea? And if so, what time do you think would be a good time for you guys? But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like I said, always appreciate you guys jumping in there. And I will try to get a hold of Bruce. I mean, I think if you guys remember, I call him Mr. President because every time I try to get a hold of him, even through Facebook, it's crazy. I can't get a hold of him. I try to, and if he'll just once in a while go down there and just like look at his messaging. Oh, Chris messaged me. Okay. He doesn't get the, any kind of information. He doesn't get any comments or anything to tell that I've actually commented to him or sent him a message or anything. So he gets no notifications, none of that. I don't know. It's crazy. So that's why I told him, I think you're blocking me, Bruce. He's like, no, I swear to God, I'm not. Yeah, you guys are awesome, man. Appreciate you guys being here. Hump day. All right, guys. Like I said, you guys have yourself a good night. And um, yeah, I see what you're saying there. Noodles, yeah, John Ward and Alien Hunter are on Italy time. Yeah, they are. They're on. They're in the UK and of course farther than that. But yeah, like I said, I'd like to do the Wednesday thing. We'll just have to see what's up. Get a hold of Bruce, and we'll just go from there, right? But anyway, you guys have a good night and a good week coming up, and we'll see you soon. Guys, have a good one.